Epimanly, for the well-groomed man of the 90s. Epimanly gently removes unsightly nose hairs, and because Epimanly takes the hair from the root, you can go longer between trimmings. Epimanly's patented lift and yank action gently lifts and yanks the hair from the root. Epimanly's turbine rotary blades cast a gentle breeze over your face. Epimanly, for the well-groomed man of the 90s. Sold at fine stores everywhere.
Epimanly.
Epimanly, for the well-groomed man of the 90s.
And 2000s. Welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going on a quest for truth together. Here we are again, friends, another Wednesday. And happy Wednesday to you all. It's the middle of the week, and I hope you're all having a good one. And because we do this Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays right around 9 p.m. Central, because we're just downrange of strange, where the outrageous is contagious and the paranormal is the new normal. Oh, yeah. There it is. And there you have it. Well, let's cruise on over to Chatlandia. Now, for some reason, our last show, the chat, I could not get it. The button wasn't there to get this up there, but it was there today. Mystery. Maybe I was caught in a time loop or something. Time tunnel, perhaps. Who knows? Nobody knows. Someone might know, right? I still have a little bit of a cold, so I apologize. A little congested still. Working my way through it. But anyway, so let's go on over to Chatlandia and see who's over there chatting, shall we? Why, look, it's Catherine Weiss. That's Weiss123. She says, hi, Aaron. She's one of our Ultra mods. And she says, I'll be over on YouTube tonight. And she also says, hi, Peggy. And I said, hi, Kathy. Okay. And then Kathy says, hello from YouTube. Imagine that. And she says, hi, Aaron. And then I said, oh, is it going to let me do that? Hi, Kathy, over there on YouTube. And look, it's our good friend, Skylark74. Greetings, fellow Truth Questers, he says. Then I said, hi, Skylark. And Skylark says, hello, Catherine. Hello, Aaron. And then look who else is here. Why, it's Peggy Dancer. That's Peggy Dancer. She's one of our Ultramods. She says, hi, Aaron. Weiss123, Kathy. I'll be on Rumble tonight. And she also said, hi, Aaron. Hi, Weiss123, Kathy. Hi, Skylark74. And Skylark says, hi, Peggy. And I said, hi, Peggy, over on Rumble. And then Peggy says on Rumble, I'm trying to hang in there tonight. Please forgive me if I don't make sense trying to get control of this pain. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're in pain. Maybe it was from your dental work that was done. We'll pray for Peggy Dancer that she will be saying goodbye to that pain. It's nothing like pain sucks. It's part of life. Sometimes we got to go through a little pain to get a little gain. And Kathy Weiss says, hi, Skylark74. Oops. And then Kathy says, hi, Aaron, over there on the portrait channel. I haven't been over there yet. And then Kathy says, hi, Peggy, over on YouTube. And then, well, look who else is here. It's our good friend, Chroniviewer. Hello, Aaron. He says, hello, buddy. Did I say hi to him? I don't think I did. And Kathy says, hi, Chroniviewer. And look, Buying is here. Hello, Buying. Good evening, Aaron, he says. And hi, Corona viewer. Hi. Oops. Buying. Alrighty then, there we go. That looks like it. And I said, hi, Corona viewer. Hi, Buying. 1619. Alrighty then, Aphrodite. Oh. No clue, Mr. Magoo. No clue when I'll get better again. Hopefully very, very soon. Let's just hope. I'm eating my fruits and I'm doing what I need to do. No pills. I don't take pills. Pills cause ills. So always no pills for me. Thank you very much. And Chronivira says a little hand wave, sunglasses, and a guitar. And Cap 78 Pack says, hi, Buying, Chronivira. Alrighty then. Well, let's get this kicked off. Excuse me. Shall we now? Oh, I need a sip of my coffee. Coffee with honey in it. It's organic honey. It was beyond the expiration date, but hey, they found honey that was thousands of years old in a pyramid and it was still edible. So I'm saying it's still edible. That's what I think. That's what I think. Well, let's go over here and see what everyone else thinks. Let's go over to the land of Zuckers, where, as you know, there's a Zucker born every minute. Excuse me. Those coughs come out too fast for me to mute. Sorry. Here is our thumbnail for tonight's show. Look at that. It's Jupiter. Beautiful Jupiter. Just an awesome work of art in our solar system. We are so lucky to have such a beautiful planet. Although it's highly radioactive, I would not recommend going there unless you have a 100% foolproof radiation shield. But there you go. Jupiter, a beautiful planet. It'll entice you with its beauty, and then you get too close, boom. It's not good. Episode 719, do you believe it? POTUS, we intend to imprison any fraudster.
We intend to imprison any fraudster, politician, or public official involved in these sick plots to loot and pillage our country. We intend to imprison any fraudster, politician, or public official involved in these sick plots to loot and pillage our country.
Yep. Good. We need accountability, not just an accountant. Oh, this is Outkick. The libs are melting down because Trump flipped someone off, but they were oddly quiet when Joe Biden went on multiple rampages during the 2020 campaign. Yeah, I don't work for you. Called someone a dog-faced pony soldier. Unreal. Here's something that's, I hope, catches on. Italy implements new ban. Teachers are now prohibited from discussing LGBT topics in both primary and secondary schools. They should fire all the teachers who don't obey with that, don't you think? Here is a very beautiful picture of Mars near the equator, or no, near the North Pole, actually. And when this came out many years ago, people thought, oh, there's trees. Look, there's trees. They're not trees. It's just black dripping down when the frozen carbon dioxide melts. So they're not casting shadows, so they're not trees. I guess this is like a kilometer square approximately. They would be pretty huge trees if they were. And just like that, liberals are blaming the shooter, not the gun. Oh, funny how that shifts around to the people who are very hypocritical. Hypocritical. And that's not very hip. It's not hip to be hypocritical. Oh, look, who's deplorable now? Breaking Bill and Hillary Clinton declare we are above the law as they defy Epstein's subpoena in shock letter. I'm not shocked. They just think they can just get away with it. They got to sick their MS-13 dogs on someone to kill someone who knows this stuff or something. I don't know. These are disgusting people. They should not be walking around. They should be in jail with a heavy ball and chain to their foot, shackled to their ankle. That should happen. And the only people they can talk to is the cockroach that sneaks in. That's it. That's what I would like to see. I think that would be just dandy. And this is Mr. Ballin. This man had proof of the paranormal. Oh, yeah. The paranormal is the new normal, you know. Well, let's see. This is a great story.
Man was digging for gold in a forest in Canada when behind him he heard this sudden commotion, and what he claimed happened next is referred to as the Falcon Lake incident. A 50-year-old man named Stephen McCulloch staggered into the Misericordia Hospital in Winnipeg, Canada. They immediately got up and walked around their desk over to these two guys and said, "Hey, what's going on? What's wrong with him?" And he tells the nurses that earlier that day, he had been burned on his chest and stomach. Doctors came into the room and they asked Stephen to show them his burns. And the doctors are stunned at what they see on his stomach. There was a very strange burn pattern that none of them had seen before. And so the doctors, they move in to get a better look at his injury. And as they're staring at it, they ask Stephen to explain how he got this burn. He knew if he told the truth about how he got this burn, then he would open himself and his family up to ridicule and skepticism. But as he's laying there and the doctors are waiting for his answer, he finally decides that the right thing to do here is just tell the truth. And so he takes a deep breath and then tells the doctors what happened to him. And by the time he was finished telling this story of what happened to his stomach, the doctors had stopped looking at his injury and instead were just standing in the middle of the room staring at Stephen with eyes wide and their mouths open. They were all literally speechless. Within 24 hours, Stephen's story had made news all over the world, and his story had attracted the attention of numerous US and Canadian secretive government agencies who were keen to interview Stephen one-on-one to really find out what he knew. Stephen was a very passionate amateur prospector. A prospector is someone who searches the earth for mineral deposits, usually gold or silver. Stephen would spend much of his off time traveling all over Canada to different wilderness areas to basically hike around the forest and up over the mountains, stopping to hack into the earth with his pickaxe in hope of discovering treasures underneath the surface. And so in May of 1967, Stephen decided to go out on another one of his prospecting trips, this time to an area called Falcon Lake. Falcon Lake is a fairly large lake located about 100 miles to the east of Winnipeg. And surrounding this lake was a big forest that Stephen had heard contained silver deposits tucked away in the hillsides. At around 9 a.m., so he's been hiking now for several hours, he looked up ahead and he saw there was a clearing on the side of this hill. From his perspective on this clearing, he could look down just a couple of hundred feet and there was the lake. And two, the reason this clearing existed and why no trees were growing on it at all is because under his feet was just a huge rock face, like a quartz vein that was running across this hillside. And so this was like the perfect place for Stephen to begin prospecting. For the next couple of hours, Stephen very diligently hacked away at this big rock, but he didn't find any silver or anything else of note. At around 12:15 p.m., Stephen was still hacking away at the rock when, despite all the noise he was making as he smashed the ground with his pickaxe, he could hear a really loud commotion coming from behind him. And it turned out when he stopped the pickaxe, the commotion sounded like geese honking and going wild. And so he dropped his pickaxe, he took his goggles, put them up on his forehead, and then he stood up and he turned around and he looked down towards the lake where he heard all these geese going crazy. And the first thing he noticed was there were some geese on the lake that appeared to be flying off in different directions like they had been startled. But what really immediately caught his attention was not the geese, but what had very likely startled the geese. And that was two bright, glowing red objects that were flying slowly across the lake towards him, kind of roughly over where the geese were. And now these objects, they were cylindrical. They appeared to be about maybe 30 or 40 feet wide. They didn't have any sort of emission coming off of them. They weren't making any noise. They were just kind of slowly making their way over towards where Stefan was. He assumed those have to be military aircraft that's doing training exercises in this area. And so feeling much more intrigued than fearful, Stefan just continued to watch as these red aircraft got closer and closer to his side of the lake. And then when these two craft were about 200 feet away from where Stefan was standing, they came to a stop and they were just hovering in the air. And then one of the craft suddenly turned orange and began going up into the clouds, and then at some point just vanished. And then the other craft, instead of going up, just continued descending very slowly, now very clearly towards this open rock face that Stefan was standing on. Once the craft finally did touch down on the rocks about 150 feet away from Stefan, it changed colors from red to stainless steel with an orange glow around the outside of the aircraft. And inside of this craft, a really bright purple light came on that Stefan was only aware of because there was a couple of small holes on the outside of this craft where this purple light was coming through. But these little rays of purple light coming out of this craft were so bright that it actually was hard for Stefan to look directly at the craft. And so his welding goggles were still on his forehead, so he pulled them down, put them over his eyes, and his welding goggles had a kind of tint to them, so it was like he was looking through sunglasses, and with those on, he was able to continue looking at the craft. But at first, nothing happens. And so Stefan is just standing there waiting for something to happen when he realizes he has his sketchbook in his pocket. And so he figured while he waited for the pilot or pilots to emerge, he would sketch the craft. After about 30 minutes of the craft having landed, it opened. There was like a sliding door on the side of the craft facing Stefan, and it revealed the beautiful, bright purple interior of this craft. But again, nothing happened. And so now, feeling just plain curious, Stefan decided, you know what, I'm going to walk over there and I'm going to yell into this open door to the pilot or pilots inside and make sure they're okay. And when he gets about 60 feet away from the craft, he suddenly stops because now he can hear from inside of this craft the sound of two voices talking to each other. You can't really tell what they're saying, but very clearly there is communication happening inside of this craft. And so Stefan assumed that must be the pilots, and so he called out to them in English. And the second Stefan yelled out to this craft, the voices immediately came to a stop, and they did not respond to Stefan. And when he got about 10 feet away, he was suddenly struck by the incredible craftsmanship of this craft. He couldn't see any rivets anywhere on this amazing piece of machinery, meaning this craft appeared like it had somehow been carved out of one enormous piece of steel, which seemed totally impossible. Also, Stefan noticed there were no insignia on the outside of this craft. There was no flag or anything kind of denoting who was flying it. There was really nothing on the outside of the craft. But Stefan just kept on going until he was standing right outside of this open door. And now he's looking directly inside, and he doesn't see the pilot or pilots, but he can clearly see inside there is some sort of panel in the back of the craft with lots of flashing lights, almost like a computer. And there were other kind of columns of light moving around inside the craft at different angles. But after looking in this craft for only a few seconds, the door suddenly slid shut. And then Stefan, without really thinking about it, reached out and touched the craft. And the second he did that, two things happened. One, the hand that he touched the craft with, he was wearing a big welding glove. And the second he made contact with that craft, the leather glove began to melt, not even catch on fire. It just instantly began to melt. And so he began frantically ripping the glove off to get it off of him to avoid injury. And then the second thing that happened is the craft began rotating counterclockwise until this vent that was on the outside of the craft, one of the very few things that was on the outside of the craft that actually Stefan had noted in his sketch. He had drawn this grate that sat on the outside of the craft. This grate rotated around until it was aimed directly at Stefan. On this vent, on this craft, it was like a checkerboard pattern with little buttonholes all over this vent. And so Stefan is looking at this vent, and then suddenly something shoots through the vent, like an explosion that hits him square in the chest and lights him on fire. His shirt is literally in flames, and so Stefan is frantically trying to rip off his shirt, and as he's doing that, he looks up and sees this craft has somehow immediately shot into the sky and is now disappearing into the clouds. Now, Stefan had no idea what just happened. All he knew is his chest and his stomach now hurt tremendously. But before he could deal with that, he developed this unbelievable headache. He suddenly felt so nauseous, and he felt delirious, like he was trying not to panic. Stefan, who now is shirtless and badly burned, he ran over and grabbed some of his things, and then he began heading back into the woods to make his way back towards the motel. It would take him several hours of stumbling through the forest, stopping periodically to vomit, but he would eventually reach the highway, and so somehow Stefan managed to make his way to the bus stop. He hopped on a Greyhound bus, he went to Winnipeg, and then his oldest son, Mark, met him at the bus stop and practically carried him into the hospital. The very strange checkerboard burn pattern found on Stefan's abdomen, where he claims this craft turned its vent and fired on him, were determined not to be thermal burns, meaning he didn't get them from something hot touching his skin like everyone initially suspected. Instead, they were determined to be chemical burns, but literally no one, doctors, scientists, government agencies, no one could figure out what chemical actually burned his skin. Despite these pieces of evidence that do seem to suggest that Stefan really did see some craft land on these rocks, and despite the fact that the US government and the Canadian government both thoroughly investigated this case and they were not able to debunk it, they basically said, well, something happened, but we don't know what. Despite all of that, Stefan and his family's lives were forever upended after this incident. Stefan was ridiculed and accused of lying and of being crazy, and his kids were unfortunately bullied at school. Shortly before Stefan died in 1999 at the age of 83, he was asked if he regretted coming forward with this story. And he would say, yes, I wish I never told anyone. But he would also say, at the time, he really felt like he had a duty to tell the world about what happened. He also never made a dime on this experience. If anything, he lost money because he paid to write a 40-page pamphlet that explained what happened to him, and then he left all these copies on his porch. So if news people showed up or if nosy neighbors showed up and had questions, he would just point to the stack of the books and say, take one and read it.
Wow. I believe it. Stranger things have happened. I totally believe it. I totally believe it. Oh, Jeff Foxworthy put this out. How men sort their laundry. Filthy. Filthy, but wearable. Yeah. Only wore it once. Didn't really sweat too much in it. That's what we do. Somebody has to do it. But here is John Solomon. Let's hear what he has to say on the War Room.
24 hours is that Tom Emmer, the number 3 member of the House, Republican leadership, he has confirmed on the record that congressional investigators are now have Minnesota state employees. We've known that there were these whistleblowers, these state legislators were talking to them. They've now become federal and congressional whistleblowers, and they're signing affidavits. And what Tom Emmer says is in the affidavits is people saying, I personally talked to the governor and his staff, Governor Tim Walz and his staff, and I told them about this fraud, told them it needed to be stopped, and they did nothing. They looked the other way. That is very significant. Now, Tom Emmer said, I think that's enough to bring criminal charges and to put the man in cuffs. Now, that is a very significant moment because Congress will take that testimony. It will make a criminal referral. And there is a U.S. attorney out in Minnesota, no glitz, no glamour, but they are rolling up indictments and they mean business. And it is very likely that Tim Walz will not only be hauled before Congress, but this evidence, if referred from Congress to the U.S. attorney and the Justice Department, could result in Tim Walz becoming a subject or a target of the investigation. That's certainly what Tom Emmer thinks.
Hunk of burning love. Operation Shutdown's here. There he is. Good to see you here. He says, hello, Kathy. He also said, this story is just downrange of strange. It sure is. Oh, you got a little flying saucer there. And let's see. And Cap 78 Pack says, sounds like he was hit with a dew weapon of sorts. Yeah. And I said, hi, Operation Shutdown. Then Operation Shutdown says, hello, Aaron. How do you like that? And Skylar says, hi, Operation Shutdown. See, everyone's saying hi. Let's check out what he says here.
Flow of money. It wasn't just Minnesota. So last week we talked about this, Steve. $700 million in suitcases flies out of Minnesota, often headed to either Amsterdam or Amsterdam to Dubai. It was a foreign ATM machine moving money out of the United States from the Somali community. We now know that this money was being staged in multiple locations. This morning, the Transportation Security Administration confirming they tracked $136 million from Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio has the second largest Somali population after Minneapolis. The money is in suitcases in Columbus. It flies to Minnesota. It goes to Minneapolis. Then the couriers in Minneapolis pick up that money, combine it with the money in Minnesota, and take it overseas. Now, why are we have banks, we have remittance centers. Why would the Somalis be doing all of this in suitcases, keeping it off the books and out of the radar? Why wasn't the Biden administration stopping it or raising questions about it? And where was that money ultimately going? Was it going to Al-Shabaab? Was it coming back into the United States in political donations? Was it just moving money out to help poor Somalis in their country? We're just starting to get a look at that. But this was a sophisticated money courier system, and Somalis are at the center of it. The same Somali communities that were defrauding the government were moving money out.
Oops. Oh. Yep. And Scott Besant says about the same thing. Okay. We're going to skip that. Oh, look, Trump is governing like he's been shot, indicted, investigated, impeached, and has no F's left to give. And it's absolutely glorious. Isn't it, though? Minnesota has the most fraud. Minnesota has the most fraud so far. So far. And look at this breaking major judicial watch Supreme Court victory. SCOTUS rules 7-2. Candidates have inherent standing to sue in federal court over election rules. That's a biggie. They're not going to be able to get away with what they got away with until now. And this is from Tammy Borko. Proud to stand with this man, and I always will. Yep, I feel the same way. Now look at this. It's an old He-Man, Masters of the Universe. Oh, you know what? It'd be nice to start collecting these. What's this? This is it says the Battle Cat. Oh, look, it's green. Wait a minute. The one in the package isn't green. And it looks surprisingly like a house cat. Well, I think we know what that is. Those cats that love those boxes. Fentanyl deaths down by 40%. Thank you, Donald J. Trump. Here's round 11. This guy does not give up. This is Anthony Brock versus the GOAT. Here he goes.
Here we are at round 11. Comments say I should jump over this goat with roller skates.
What could go wrong?
Okay, let's see who's the boss.
Oh, man. Oh. Oh, that's rough. He's going to get broken bones, isn't he? Probably has.
That was harder than it looks, but you guys knew that already. Here we are at round 11. Comments say I should.
Comments say I should. Oh, my. Oh, I'm glad I didn't think of that. Boy, can you imagine? Shipwrecks in Kansas cornfields? Here's an interesting story I thought you might all like to know. Midwest versus the rest. Interesting story.
Didn't know this, but apparently there are a bunch of shipwrecks in the middle of cornfields in Kansas, buried like 50 feet below the ground. Of course, there's this one dude, treasure hunter, who's made it his life mission to excavate 19th century steamboat shipwrecks from Midwestern cornfields. Very niche. He uses old maps and a proton magnetometer to figure out its probable location. In 1988, Holly, this treasure hunter, uncovered a steamboat called Great White Arabia that sank in 1856. He found it 45 feet beneath the ground, and there was 200 tons of treasure, pre-war artifacts. Of course, there's no water damage because it's in a cornfield, so it's in pristine condition. Even the food was still edible. This looks like celery sticks, but apparently over 400 boats have sunk in the Missouri River. And you're probably like, that's so weird. How does a boat that's sunk in a river end up in a cornfield? Well, funny you bring that up, because in the 19th century, the Army Corps of Engineers tried to forcibly alter the river. They tried to make it more narrow, bring the banks in so that boats would move faster through it by speeding up the currents. So when Arabia sank, by hitting like a snag in the bend, it was fossilized not in the river, but decades later, it was like pushed into the cornfield. Today, they've located another steamboat, Steamboat Malta. Here's where it's located. It's called Malta Bend because they knew that Steamboat Malta sunk there in 1841, hit a tree, but it will cost like $3 million to dig it up. They're just planning on digging it up, but they need space first for where to put all these artifacts from it. It requires a lot of resources and timing, because if it floods, all that treasure is in jeopardy. Didn't know this, but apparently
Isn't that bizarre? So you might be able to find yourself a shipwreck in a Kansas cornfield. Wow. But you better have a big warehouse that's ready to take all that stuff. 200 tons? That's more than I have here at my house, I think. Well, I guess that's about what I have in my junk drawer. Yes, definitely junk drawer. 200 tons. In that junk drawer, Concerned Citizen puts this out. Anti-vax people seem to be the winners. Rest in peace, Scott Adams, one of the very few people that were able to admit the reality of the COVID vaccines. No one will ever know if your passing is linked to the experimental mRNA vaccines or not. What we do know now, beyond any reasonable doubt, based on the huge peer-reviewed sample studies, is that the experimental mRNA vaccines are causing aggressive cancers in the vaccinated. Yes, he knew it. And what the mainstream media says, disgraced Dilbert artist passed away. Disgraced? Why? Because he's talking truth? Is that why he's disgraced? Unbelievable, these people. These medias. Here's Bill and Hillary Clinton refused to testify before the House Oversight Committee. Yep, they're going to find out. And Trump flipped the bird. And here is a meme by the meme queen. Thanks, meme queen. Yeah. Some guy yelled out the same thing that my libtard friend calls Trump a pedophile protector. He's anything but, folks. Yeah, unreal. Well, a couple pedophiles refused to even go and talk to Congress, the Clintons. I run every day for 20 minutes. If I miss a day, I add 20 minutes to the next day. This has truly been a game changer. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to run for 4 months. Been putting it off, I guess. A little bit too long. It's insurmountable. And Trump says, you know, I could arrest the devil himself, and those morons on the left would be crying for his release. Can you believe that? I believe it. I've seen it. Another urgent priority for bring down the cost of living is to stop the colossal fraud. Our country has been losing over $500 billion of fraud every single year, but these days are over. So there you go. Defying congressional oversight. Yeah, the Clintons. Lock them up. Lock them. Put the Clintons in the clink. Clintons. We need to stop calling these people protesters. They are criminal obstructionists. Stop blaming ICE for defending themselves. Oh, there's that beautiful picture of Jupiter from ethereal Earth. This is the closest image ever taken of Jupiter. Oh, I don't know about that. There's a lot of them like that. There you go. Oh, there's Barry Soetoro and a Michael Robinson, America's biggest fraud, right there. Yep, there he is, showing the guy who is the boss. You don't. What was it? You don't mess with Superman. You don't spit in the wind. You don't mess around with Jim. You don't mess around with him. That's right. Yeah, there's Robert Karstedt. Dude called him a pedo protector moments earlier. Yeah. I know he did. Just like you idiot. He pops up and just makes stupid remarks all the time like that. Yep. There you go. Got that again. Nick Sorter. You know what I was thinking, Nick Sorter? He should have a show called Sorting Through It with Nick Sorter. Don't you think? Sorting Through It with Nick Sorter. Breaking, entire buses just loaded up countless illegal aliens into deportation plane at Minneapolis airport. They just took off. Good riddance. That's what I'm talking about. Deportations will not slow down. Dan Scavino put this out. Don't quit. Do it. It's his birthday today, too. Do it, Q. Terry Wade put that out. Thanks, Terry. And here is, let's see, this is very specific. He's naming dates, agencies, admirals, doctors, and even a monastery. He's describing structured process. People waiting in line to question. Let's listen to this. Oh.
I found out that they were there asking their set of questions, that there was literally a conga line of 3-letter agency people waiting to go into that interview suite to ask that being questions. We found a woman that claims she transcribed the index cards into notes. Oh. And I will tell you what she said about this being. What he did was forwarded me an email that was sent to him from someone he knew inside the DIA. And it says, here's what I know about that film. It was classified as an unauthorized viewing. This film was filmed on April 22nd, 1991 at 3:15 in the afternoon on behalf of the Department of Naval Intelligence, coordinated by the Defense Intelligence Agency. He said it was a clone extraterrestrial biological entity type 2 from the Tau Ceti star system. Here's were the men in the room. The first name was Rear Admiral Ned Schaefer, Captain Lowell Jacoby. He becomes Director of DIA. Dr. Craig McPherson, Robert Donovan, Army Intel, Dr. Wilford Webb Wilson. The next name on the list was Carthusian Monk 1, Carthusian Monk 2. Yes, we're now in the Da Vinci Code. There is a monastery in Vermont. It's called the Charterhouse Transformational Monastery. I have the picture of this one monk. He's 91 years old. I'm going to blow your mind now. What he said was that remote viewers with the NSA were getting this remote viewing of a white building in the far upper East Coast where members there had the gift. There was a total of 6 monks that they were used for counterintelligence in the 80s. Some of them were brought to S4, asked to do thought projection interviews with these beings. And he said that he said that it took a couple of days to describe how human beings live in our time, seconds, minutes, days. The being did not understand that. This type of alien, they measure time in their experiences layered on top of each other. No one on the internet has ever said this before. If you want to make a general drinking his coffee in the morning spit up, you conclusively say that this was filmed by the government. No one on the internet has ever said this before. If you want to make a general drinking his coffee in the morning spit up, tell him this. The new designation of aliens is SABER. I'm like the sword? He's like, yes, SABER. I said, what does that stand for? He goes, synthetic, astrobiological, extraterrestrial races. Don't ever ask about it. And I am telling you, do not ever bring it up on any of your podcasts or whatnot. And I don't want you talking about other species other than the Greys. And if you stick to the Greys, you will be safe. I can guarantee it. And conclusively say that this was filmed by the government.
I was muted. Sorry. Thanks, Kathy. I took it off. Okay.
Engage. Hey, Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Move left. That is so cool. Hey, Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Roll out. This is so cool.
Let's roll.
I will be getting the Megatron, and once I do that, I won't be available for at least 4 days. Engage. Hey, Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Move left. That is so cool. Hey, Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Roll out. This is so cool.
Let's roll.
I will be getting the Megatron, and once I do that, I won't be available for at least 4 days.
He won't be available for 4 days. He's going to be playing with his toy. Isn't that nice? Let's see. Oh, you say you want to make some brownies, but you don't want all that sugar? Well, here you go. This might be the trick for you. Have you ever heard of this? From the Healthy Lab.
Did you know if you add peanut butter to bananas, then add cocoa powder, a little honey, and baking powder, blend well and bake it, you create banana brownie, one of the healthiest snacks you can eat? High protein, rich in antioxidants, free from refined sugar and flour.
Looks good.
Did you know if you add peanut butter to banana?
Looks good. I'll buy that for $1. And here's the Daily Caller. Let's hear what the VP says.
What is, I'm sorry, guys. What's going on here? You guys are meant to report the truth. How have you let yourself become agents of propaganda of a radical fringe that's making it harder for us to enforce our laws? You just asked me a question that presumed that the reason why this woman died is because she was engaged in legitimate protest. She tried to run somebody over with her car, and the guy defended himself when that happened. Next question. What is, I'm sorry, guys. What's going on here?
It's been going on for a decade, over a decade. Oh, here's something that Evan's going to love. Look at this Hot Wheels track. The evolution of a stunt track, part 3. Look at this. Come on. Hot Wheels rock, okay? Oh, come on now. Let's start this. Wow. Look at that. Right in the box. Crazy, huh? The best part goes right in the box. Right in the bin. Boom. Amazing. Just Hot Wheels rock. Oh, did you hear this? There's a new Elvis movie coming out from previously lost footage from the 70s, and it's going to be epic. Elvis Presley in concert, epic. Here he is doing Patch It Up. I don't think this is the movie, but we'll take a look at it anyway.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We got to patch it up, baby, before we fall apart at the seams. We got to patch it up, baby. We can't let time unravel our dreams. Let's go back and flex the past. One more night is all I ask. Get that feeling, that old feeling, feeling, we can patch it up, baby. We can patch it up, baby. We can patch it up, baby. Patch it up with a whole lot of we got to patch it up, baby. Let's sweep out all our trouble from our heart. We got to patch it up, baby, before indifference pulls us apart. Let's don't let a good love die. Let's give it just one more try with that feeling, that old feeling, feeling. We can patch it up, baby. We can patch it up, baby. We can patch it up, baby. Patch it up with a whole lot of we got to patch it up, baby. We got to patch it up, baby. We got to patch it up, baby. Patch it up with a whole lot. Patch it up with a whole lot of patch it up, baby. We can patch it up, baby. We can patch it up, baby. Patch it up. with a whole lot. Oh, now.
There it is.
Almost. Thank you. One, two, three, four.
The one and only Elvis Aaron Presley. And there he is singing Patch It Up. Great song, a fun song to do. And boy, he sure has fun doing it, didn't he? Here's the movie Melania. Look at this.
Then
You can come in. Come on in. I promise legacy will be that of peacemaker.
peacemaker under the fire. Beautiful. Together with like-minded leaders, we have a voice. Is it safe?
It is safe.
Everyone wants to know. So here it is. Hi, Mr. President. Congratulations.
Did you watch it?
I did not. Yeah, I will see it on the news.
That's funny. Oh, he's always trying to impress her. Did you see it? Nope. I'll watch it later. We're all thinking of you, Scott. Look at that. The Peanuts gang. Until they invented the other side of Velcro, it never really caught on. Thanks, puns. We needed that right about now. Americans ditch cheese after learning Pfizer's ingredient now found in 90% of dairy products. Remember, we talked about that last time. Very disgusting. Oh, they're not going to make any payments starting February 1st to sanctuary cities or states. Yeah, Minnesota hotel, they allegedly didn't take the ice people. They're taking the sign down. Look at this gorgeous. Now, I don't know if this is real. Nature's Symphony, Finland. Look at that. If it's real, it's beautiful. Even if it's not real, still beautiful. Lucky Charms is linked to adrenal tumors in rats. Oreos are linked to concerns that could cause kidney tumors and damage nerve cells. Flamin' Hot Cheetos can cause DNA mutations in white blood cells. That doesn't sound good. What is the point of an FDA if everything they approve is literally poison? Right? That's a very good question. What is human trafficking? It's Human Trafficking Day, Awareness Day, so wear blue, I guess. Angela Megan Luckner put that out. Here's the 2025 accomplishments. President Trump's 2025 sealed borders, crackdown on criminal illegal aliens, secured a Gaza ceasefire, lowered gas prices for all American families, crime suspension in Washington, D.C., suppression, stable unemployment and inflation, record high military recruitment, lower taxes on hardworking Americans, NATO allies paying more for defense, stopped drug smuggling into the U.S. That's a pretty hefty amount of stuff to get done in 1 year, I would just have to say. Protesters protest for higher protesting wage. It's like the only thing they have left to do. Executive order, signs an executive order, no more secret biolabs or pandemic experiments in U.S., shutting down gain-of-function research and secret biolabs. No more playing God with the American lives, yes. And they're going to, yeah, well, there's that. Here it is. Here's that movie, Elvis. Experience Elvis like never before, featuring long-lost footage discovered by Academy Award nominated Baz Luhrmann. Epic Elvis Presley in concert. It looks good. Check this out.
We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby.
There's been a lot written and a lot said, but never from my side of the story. Hey, the light's on. I can see you. Hello out there. Hello.
It's burning through my soul.
Camera crew, gentlemen. All right.
It's coming closer. I feel like I'm slipping away.
Play the hell out of it.
You can't live behind.
If you feel it, you can't help but move to it.
You light my morning sky. Burn love.
It's a new crowd out there. They haven't seen us before. It's got to be like the first time we go on. That's one of the secrets.
It looks like a lot of fun. And it's going to be in theaters, so go see it in a big screen theater. If you feel it, you can't help but move to it. That's right. Canola oil. It's straight toxic. There's no such thing as a canola plant. It's genetically modified rapeseed, bred low in uric acid, linked to heart lesions, still packs 2 to 3% uric acid. Illegal as rapeseed oil in the U.S., hyper-processed, hexene extracted, overheated till rancid, bleached, deodorized to mask the stink. No human ever ate rapeseed naturally. Now it's everywhere, pushed as heart healthy for dropping cholesterol. Ditch it for beef tallow or grass-fed butter. Yes. Contempt of Congress. There is Scott Adams meeting Trump. Of course, he changed affiliations when he realized that the jab was not good. I think we already saw that, didn't we? I pledge allegiance to the Somalian flag, one nation under fraud, clearly visible with bribery and corruption for all. That's Tampon Timmy's little thing there. Republican Army. The left didn't care about Irina Zarustka. The left didn't care about Charlie Kirk. The left didn't care about Austin Metcalf. The left didn't care about National Guardsmen got shot in D.C. But they burned cities over a woman who tried to kill ICE agents. Yeah. Sharia law needs to be banned in all 50 states. I agree. You mean the Democrats who owned all the slaves are demanding reparations for slavery from the Republicans who freed the slaves? Yeah. Kind of backwards, isn't it? I want every ICE officer to know that their president, vice president, entire administration stands behind them. To the radicals assaulting them, doxing them, and threatening them, congratulations. We're going to work even harder to enforce the law. There you go. Look at that. That's what the cat's saying. Food, right? Look at that. That's pretty good. I like that. From Unify, look at that. Food. Open the can for me. That's what they say. Support and defend ICE. Thin, blue, long, strong. And here's, I think we've seen that numerous times. Crowds in Minneapolis are chanting, "We love ICE," while waving the American flag. The loud minority is getting drowned out. More of this energy. There's Scott again. And more of this kind of stuff. Oh, yeah. Your cellmate's name is Puffy. Nice guy. Seems to like baby oil for some reason. Brandy Powers. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, happy 66th day. It's been 60 years since Batman started. Let's watch some bat action.
Let's mosey up the back way. Batman speaking.
This is a recording. Before you trip over your cape, Batman, riddle me this. There are 3 men in a boat with 4 cigarettes but no matches. How do they manage to smoke?
The Riddler.
What the heck's he trying to tell us?
I don't know. Let's go up and ask him.
Yeah.
Stand clear.
Batarang.
You go first, I like it.
Roger. Gosh, if I could just figure out that riddle. Why can't I get it?
Maybe your mind's on that cute little teenager who waved to you on the way across town, eh?
Aw, come on, Batman.
Yep. Thinking about that woman. And there's our last show. So there we go. Back over to here. And Skylark says, I remember that I watched the premiere episode that very night. Yes, I'm sure I did too. And Skylark says, I was 11 years old when it debuted. I was, let's see, I was 4 years old. But it's very impactful. It made a lifelong impact. It made me want to be a good citizen. Good citizen. That's right. All right. Well, we're going to go over to, wait. First, we're going to get this off the screen. All right. Let's go over to X. All right. Let's do that. Oh, look at this. And Trump is promoting whole milk. Make whole milk great again. Look at that. He's delivering. Look at that. He's the milkman from the White House. Going live. We choose to offend leftists with memes, not because it's easy, but because it is fun. That's right. Thanks, Juanita Broderick. Oh, look at this. From Messimo, the ballistic system of the oxalis plant launching seeds explosively as pods dry out. Look at that. It's shooting their little seeds out. Look at that. Like, get them far away from here. Don't grow here, man. It's not good soil. Go far away. Look at that. No sound to it. 3-leaf clover here. How do you like that? Oh, ice baby. Look at Trump with his hair up. Pompadour, just like Vanilla Ice. Oh, here we go. This will be good to watch. From Mr. Star Spangled. Let's watch Baby Trump. So cool. So cool. Oh, look at this. It's an airplane that comes right back at you. Let's watch this. Let's not listen to the music. Here's a fold it in half. You fold the sides down like that. Then you fold that whole part, leaving about half an inch. Fold those in. Now tuck those in under. And now fold the front twice to add the weight so it flies. No coin or paperclip. Just the weight of the paper folded. It's a good technique. See the way he used his thumbnail to give those little vents pointed up? That gives it lift. Look, it comes right back to you. I got to make one of those. Those look so cool. So now you know how to make a great airplane that will always come back. How do you like that? Oh, here's Dan Scavino's birthday picture with Pepe. Happy birthday, Dan. Of course, a lot of us Q people think of Dan Scavino as maybe one of the Q team. Could be one of the Q team. I bet buying Greenland is still cheaper than funding daycares in Minneapolis, right? Thanks, Juanita Broderick. That's pretty good. Look at this, the vegan prank. It's a picture of a deer. And I guess alligators don't have very good vision. But he thinks he sees a deer. He's very confused why he's not getting benefit. He really wants it. He won't give up. He won't give up. Today's cartoon, we'll miss you, Scott. And Scott Adams passed away today. No. What do we do now? We can keep his legacy alive through us. If you have a sweater like this, it's important to keep it. Oh, this is so
if you have a sweater like this, it's important you keep it zipped all the way up. Keep invaders out.
Invaders.
It's kind of cold outside, but you need to make sure that nothing will climb in the collar on those. It's a really nice, high quality quarter zip sweater. It's kind of tight around the collar. She's using her back legs for traction. They're digging. The front ones are digging too. Oh my gosh, she might make it. Oh dear, no. She might. Oh. She defeated another one. Kind of stretched it out too, Bonnie. Hey, cheese. Cheese. Hey, where are you? That's what it's like. No, never mind.
Graphic artist. Here's another graphic artist that found out that Obama's birth certificate's fake. Let's just watch this quickly.
Because I just saw some video online that said Obama's birth certificate is fake. And it's on the whitehouse.gov. Apparently you can download it. And so I did. I'm a professional designer, guys. I'm a professional designer. If you look behind me, look, like 3D printers and like wave format printers, all this stuff. Okay, like I do this all the time. Like I've done photo editings. This is insane. I am like shook at the intensity. I got to show you this. So here we go. We're on. I just typed in Obama certificate. Here, I'll just type it in, enter. Here you go. Obama certificate, long form PDF. This says the White House or the Obama White House archives.gov. This is the official .gov website. Okay, this is Obama's birth certificate, supposedly. But what I'm about to show you is gonna blow your mind. Like I'm downloading it right now. We're downloading it. Let's bring it up in the files. I've done this a few times now at this point because I'm like, I can't even believe this is real. So, and let's open this up in Illustrator. Okay, in Illustrator. And I'm like thinking, okay, well, that's, it could be legit, except for, wait a second, there's bounding boxes on here. So you can delete the bounding boxes and in Illustrator. And if you delete them, you can move the entire background document off of the page. And you can literally separate it. And you can see that this is the original document with the original text on it. This has been completely photo edited, and they put this ghosting effect on here. And this is like, I can't even believe this. And even the background's been edited because this pattern just repeats like it was on the page, but it like curls around. I don't know what that's about. That's weird. But all of this is separated. These are separate window boxes. This is from the White House's website. Look, I literally just downloaded this. And look, it's like crazier than that. Look, the entire document has separation components. Like, their date stamps are two tonal different colors. Like, they can be moved separate. Like, I'm just blown away. I'm blown away at how terrible of a Photoshop job this is. There is like some...
Isn't that wild? Totally fake. His whole presidency should be null and void from that. Here's his anti-vaxxers video. Let's watch a little bit of this.
Having said as clearly as possible that the anti-vax people seem to be the winners, I want you to hear that clearly. The anti-vax people appear to be the winners. The anti-vaxxers clearly are the winners at this point, and I think it'll probably stay that way. And I don't want to put any shade on that whatsoever. They came out the best. They have the winning position. The unvaccinated have a current advantage because they feel better. The thing they're not worrying about is what I have to worry about, which is, I wonder if that vaccination 5 years from now, because really the anti-vaxxers, I think, were really just distrustful of big companies and big government. That's never wrong. It's never wrong to distrust government. It's never wrong to distrust big companies. So if you just took the position, let's just distrust everything the government did, well, you won. You won. You won completely. I did not end up in the right place. Agree? You would all agree with that, right?
So there he is. Yes, and that was quite a while ago, January 13th of last year, I think, or maybe the year before. Yeah, so he became a Trump supporter and wasn't, and now he's called a disgraced cartoonist. You hear about this? Glenn Prager, Senior Department Justice Epstein investigator. Let's just listen to a little bit of this.
Just was never on the plane with the kids. I've seen the itineraries and I've interviewed all the victims. There's never been an instance where Trump was on a plane with these kids and a rape occurred. But that can't be said for Clinton, and it can't be said for others. While the Clintons were on the plane, while Bill Clinton was on the plane, there were rapes that occurred.
Overheard at Phoenix Airport on September 8th, 2025, a senior Justice Department investigator who personally worked on the Epstein case tells all. Glenn Prager, who has reviewed Epstein itineraries and has interviewed Epstein's victims, drops a bombshell. He says that the DOJ did not want to go after Epstein because he's a CIA asset, that the evidence from his investigation confirms that Bill Clinton was present for alleged rapes on the Lolita Express, and that President Trump was not present for the rapes that Glenn Prager investigated, but that he is protecting a lot of other people that were.
How about this whole Epstein thing that's like going down?
So I worked on that case. I used to interview all the victims. And my picture was 20 to 30 victims in Palm Beach that I was interviewing and dealing with and stuff like that. And then we would go ready to go to trial and they would flip. Epstein would just pay them off. And they were just like these little kids. You know, they pay off their family. They're all broke kids and poor families. And so you pay them off like anywhere from $150,000 to $500,000. Nothing in that guy's world.
Prager there describes how the victims that he interviewed were paid off by Epstein right before going to trial. Prager has worked as an investigator inside the Department of Justice for over 20 years. According to Prager's LinkedIn About page, it says that during the tenure at DOJ, Prager served as an inspector overseeing sensitive investigations involving major DOJ components, including the FBI, DEA, Bureau of Prisons,
U.S. Marshal Service, ATF, and the U.S. Attorney's offices. This seems to corroborate what Prager told us. He was tasked with interviewing Epstein's rape victims and investigating flight logs. On his backpack in the airport, we spotted an embroidered FBI patch, which caught the attention of our citizen journalist.
I'll tell you this, because no, it's not talked about yet, but it'll soon come out that he was a CIA informant.
He was a CIA.
He was a CIA.
Although many have suspected it to be the case, this is the first time.
Isn't that interesting? That came out a while ago, I think. They're just making the rounds again. True Stormy Joe put this happy birthday, Dan Scavino. You've been a rock for decades. You are truly appreciated by patriots. God bless. Yes, he certainly is. Died suddenly. Dilbert creator who now has stage 4 cancer says anti-vaxxers were 100% right. There's Janine Pereiro. And listen to this. This is pretty interesting.
Today, we got some absolutely massive news. We got the confirmation that President Trump's FBI, DOJ, DNI, and CIA are currently, and I'm not kidding when I say this, are currently building out an absolutely sweeping 10-year government conspiracy case against the entire Democrat Party, bringing forth RICO charges, treating the entire Democrat Party as one giant criminal organization, which, by the way, is exactly what it is. That is exactly what they are. Now, to really kick this off here, what I want to do is take a listen to George Papadopoulos, who is President Trump's former campaign advisor. We've got 2 clips from him I want to take a listen to. I think you guys are going to like what we're about to talk about.
The FBI, the DOJ, the DNI, and the CIA are all looking at a 10-year-long government conspiracy case in which they're likely going to look at RICO charges, look at the Democrat Party and the left as some sort of criminal organization writ large, and people like Brennan, Obama, Comey, and the upper echelons of the Democrat Party are all now in the crosshairs of this grand jury that will be impaneled just today.
And there was a grand jury impaneled down in Florida. Allegedly, we don't know exactly the nature of what the grand jury is going to be investigating or looking into or presiding over. But right now, according to Papadopoulos and various other White House insiders, this is exactly what is going on here. Now, before some people say, no, there's no way this is happening, I want to say something here. We found out yesterday afternoon, in fact, that DOJ had been investigating Chairman of the Federal Reserve. There was a federal DOJ investigation into Jerome Powell for 2 months, starting in the middle of November of 2025, starting around 2 months ago. And keep in mind, none of us, we had no idea that this investigation was underway. This investigation into Jerome Powell, federal DOJ investigation, had been going on totally under wraps. No leakers, no whistleblowers, nothing. We had no clue for 2 whole months. And then we only ever found out about it yesterday morning because Jerome Powell himself came out and made a video talking about it. And so I'm going to ask you a question. Is it possible that there actually is a massive DOJ investigation, this 10-year sweeping RICO case they're building out that's been going on behind the scenes that none of us have known about, that it actually has been kept under wraps?
Yeah, Cronenberg just said chat on screen is out of sync. Yeah, sometimes, well, there's like a 15-second or half a minute delay for whatever reason. I guess they need to have that there for some reason. There he is. The vibe of the show when I relaunch on February 2nd, Dan Bongino. He's going to be tearing it up. That's going to be good to see. Good to see. MAGA voice breaking. President Trump calls on Ilhan Omar to be thrown out of America, calling her gross for marrying her brother. They should be thrown out of the USA. Get it done now. That includes their loser rep, Omar, who married her brother. Gross. President HAT. Very gross. Breaking, Stephen Miller just sent a very loud message to every ICE officer in America. No city official, no state official, no illegal alien, no leftist agitator, no domestic insurrectionist can prevent you from fulfilling your legal obligations and duties. Yes. And what's this? 1859 Chevrolet El Camino ad. 1859.
The beauty of the Chevy Shape 4 59. The brawn of the Task Force line, now wedded to bring you the exciting El Camino, Chevrolet's all-new El Camino. Look.
Look.
El Camino, the most beautiful thing ever built to shoulder a load. Chevrolet's El Camino, trim, handsome, and yet so very practical for your hauling needs.
And Father Clock.
Passenger car interiors, every new Chevy comfort and convenience, nearly every Chevy option, including your choice of engines, V8s, or the 6 that puts more miles back into gallons. A new breed, but a thoroughbred Chevrolet. The all-new, all-beautiful El Camino for $19.59 at your Chevrolet dealers now.
There's the 59 Chevy. Rush right out and get one. El Camino. Just in, the White House says it was inappropriate for President Trump to flip off a heckler in Detroit who yelled, "Pedophile protector." A lunatic was wildly screaming expletives in a fit of rage, and the president gave an appropriate and unambiguous response. There you go. Elon Musk says the true mission of SpaceX is to turn Star Trek into reality.
We want to make Starfleet Academy real so that it's not always science fiction, but one day the science fiction turns to science fact. And we have spaceships going through space, big spaceships, with people going to other planets, going to the moon, and ultimately going beyond our star system to other star systems where we may meet aliens or discover long-dead alien civilizations. I don't know, but we want to go and we want to see what's happening, and we want to have epic futuristic spaceships with lots of people in them traveling to places we've never been to before.
Yeah, just like Star Trek. Make it real. Look at this. Sky over Birmingham just turned bright pink. Everyone freaked out. Look at this.
Wow. The whole sky is glowing pink. Never seen it like this. It's quiet. There's snow and light. Feels unreal. Beautiful night. Wow. The whole
Watch out for the Pink Panther. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, readers, added context. Pink sky is due to LED lights on the pitch at Birmingham City Football Club. This specific video is AI generated, as you can easily point out. Okay, sorry about that. I guess you get to see what AI is doing. Breaking, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stuns America by confirming there are tapes of Minnesota AG taking money to stop investigations into Somalis. I don't want to get ahead of the investigation, but when the bear trap snaps, we'll get these folks. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is good. What's this prank?
If you take this too serious, then you really need some judge.
He's dumbfounded. I'm just going to turn off that music because it's just dumb. It's wine. Oh, look at the camera. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. That's that. Oh, look. My dad texted me about a very serious leak under the sink. So I asked him to send a picture. That's a very serious leak down there. Look at that serious leak. Oh, yeah. Gotta be careful of the serious leaks. Patel fired corrupt FBI agents in anti-Trump Arctic frost inquiry who weaponized law enforcement. Oh, good. And oh, look, an ice machine. Look, this is where they're keeping the ICE officers. So if you see an ice machine, know that the ice is not too far away. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's the Kit song. Okay. Look at this. Hydrogen peroxide.
Here is what this does to your body. First, it kills fungus and bacteria instantly. Hydrogen peroxide releases oxygen that destroys fungal cells, athlete's foot, and nail infections overnight. Second, it pulls toxins through your skin. Your feet have thousands of pores, and the peroxide draws out heavy metals and chemicals while you sleep. Third, it boosts your immune system. The oxygen absorption triggers white blood cell production throughout your body. Fourth, it softens calluses and dead skin. The peroxide breaks down hardened skin naturally without scraping. And fifth, it improves circulation. The oxygen increases blood flow to your extremities. Here is how to do it. Fill a basin with warm water, add half a cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide. Soak your feet for 10 to 15 minutes. Do this 3 times a week. Within days, your feet transform and your energy increases. Comment feet if you're trying this tonight. My next video shows what else you can do with hydrogen peroxide. Share this healing trick and follow for more simple remedies.
Healing trick. I like that. James O'Keefe, breaking U.S. Secret Service agent assigned to J.D. Vance, leaks sensitive security information to undercover reporter. Escato is a holdover from the Biden administration and stated that he voted for Biden while expressing opposition to ICE and the Trump administration. Well, get him out of there quick. Oh, look, Sully says, I have been literally waited my whole life to see this. A cow jumping over the moon. Look at that. Here's from the NASCAR mummies, kind of a chart giving the size. Here's the normal human. And here's a couple of the tridactyl human-looking type beings, a couple more, and the smaller reptilian ones, and these little insectoid ones. There's a lot of different ones. It's very interesting, very intriguing, and I love it. Here's Apollo 20, 1976. Let's watch this. Mona Lisa. We're just going to take off that. So this is how they found her, and these little tubes, apparently William Rutledge said that these tubes were part of a system that was keeping her almost alive, but not dead. There were little beings inside those tubes, keeping her body viable. I don't know if that part's true. There's some of the writing they found. Very interesting. William Rutledge claims he was one of the secret astronauts in this mission. And when he was not invited to the White House, they invited all the people who went on the moon to the White House. When he wasn't invited, he was super upset. He feels they should have declassified it by now. So he released all this footage he took himself. Very interesting. And I think it's real. It looks very real. So this alien, this very human-looking alien, it's like over 1 million years old or maybe more. My goodness. It's crazy. So crazy. Oh, there's Trump. Look at that.
We don't take Greenland, Russia or China will, and I'm not letting that happen. If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will take Greenland, and I am not going to let that happen.
You know, they can offer you, they're like,
yeah, sure, I'd love to make a deal with them. It's easier. But one way or the other, we're going to have Greenland. If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will, and I'm not.
He's dressed for the part there. He is dressed for the part. Please stop making memes about me. Right? And there's our last show. So we're going to put a cap on it. And we're going to say goodnight to everybody. I want to thank you all for coming along to the Truth Quest. Because we're just downrange of strange, where the outrageous is contagious and the paranormal is the new normal. Thank you all so very much. Thank you all so very much. And oh, look at this. Why, Crown Viewer says, great show, Aaron. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. And I said, thank you all so very much. And Kathy puts this out. Good night, everyone. And Skylark says, I'm still a little confused about the Greenland issue, because during the Cold War, the U.S. had military bases there, and the Danes were always very cooperative with us. Well, the Danes they've got a really big problem with child trafficking. It's one of the hubs. So with the kind of work that Trump is doing, I'm sure they don't like it. So I think we do need to get Greenland. And Skylark says, thank you, Aaron. You're welcome, buddy. And Cap78 Pack Peggy Dancer says, hope you feel better, Aaron. Thank you for the show. God bless you. Peace in and much love. Thank you very much, Peggy. I really appreciate that. Skylark says, good night, fellow Truth Questers. Good night, buddy. That's awesome. All right. So keep your cameras pointed to the skies so you can take a picture of that crazy clear UFO and come out of the Truth Quest and talk all about it. Wouldn't that be cool? We are hoping that happens very soon. Suddenly. Soon and suddenly. There we are. There you have it. Oh, and look at this. Operation Shutdown says, I will keep my camera pointed to the sky so I can take a picture of that crazy UFO and come out of the Truth Quest and talk about it. Awesome. That'll be a great day when you do that, buddy. And I appreciate all of you. Thanks for coming on by. Remember to hit the old thumbs up, share it on out, because hitting the thumbs up and even leaving a comment below the video helps the algorithm and the algo beat and the algo melody. So there you go. So I thank you very much for doing that. Until Friday, peace in, and we'll see you then. Peace in. World peace, baby. That's right. That is right. Peace in. World peace, baby. That's right. All righty then.